All right, Leroy, how do you survive a hangover?
Mm, Hangovers, all right. This is something I'm no stranger to. Um, all right. So it varies. It depends on the severity of the hangover. There's like an equation, like how much you drank times how late you stayed up times a few extra miscellaneous whatever. But I I everything when I wake up with a hangover, everything in me wants to just stay in bed, watch Netflix, and just like just stay in my little cave, like this bed right here. Just close those blinds, no light enters, and just stay in there and just kind of feel
Hide
sorry for
away.
myself and just absorb the just yeah, just binge watch probably a series on Netflix, and I have done that many a times. But
Do you have a go-to show that you watch because it makes you feel, comfortable and happy?
mm, to be honest, not really. It just depends on what series I'm into. Like when I watch a series, I watch a series. So like I'll just keep watching that and I won't really deviate and watch other shows. So it just depends on the series. Otherwise, yeah, I like to watch maybe like a chill like action movies, like Marvel movies. They're pretty good. They're pretty good to watch hungover.
Man, Marvel movies. I have watched, that fight scene in Avengers Endgame
Yeah.
where like everyone just comes back to life and it's just the all-out war.
Yeah.
Every time I'm hungover, I watch that one specific scene. Like I have watched that battle scene
So that's
from the
a few
beginning
times.
all the way to the end when Tony Stark like passes away, and it's
Yeah.
so emotional, but it just makes me feel so good. It makes me feel so happy.
Yeah.
That's
That's
my number one tip to
I
get into a
should
hangover. Avengers Endgame.
And what I've found more recently in my hangover experience is, yeah, a hangover is gonna suck, but I reckon it sucks way more when you just stay in and like in your safe spot like Netflix and just like
Mm,
Uber Eats or like just like some dirty feed in the fridge. But
yeah,
I actually now like to get out and outside. As soon as I'm outside, firstly have a shower. That's rough sometimes. The shower, and then I like to change my clothes and get outside, just go for a walk or just try to arrange something. Like usually like on a Sunday, I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna like meet up with a mate that I haven't met up in a while, or like maybe go for a run, or like yeah, let's say go for a run, but like that can
yeah.
change depending on the night very easily. But I like to set myself like little obligations where I have to meet up with someone, so that way I'm out of bed. It's rough for like maybe like the first hour, but
Mm,
once I'm out and up and feeling that sun and just like moving around, the hangover isn't as bad. But
yeah.
like that being said, there are some hangovers where it's a write off and you need to be in that bed for your own safety.
Mate, I know because I've had my plans with you cancelled on Sundays far too many times. Dude, you still have a gym? I don't get a reply for like 4 hours. Oh man, it hurts. Sometimes it does.
Hey, it happens to the best of us, doesn't it? It's just like, yeah, that's after like just hoping like after a big night, hoping no one says gym. Like just kind of like
Yeah,
leaving it to linger there, and then it's like gym and like, oh, you like
I must
everything in your
admit,
body is like you should, but like you're like, nah.
I must admit, sometimes I've been like, gym question mark, hoping that you would say no. But at least if I send the message, then it's not on me to have cancelled. And then you feel obliged to say yes, so we end up having to go to the gym, which isn't the bad thing.
Yeah, those Sunday sessions are always good session. We used to like that. That's like we used to do the Sunday walk just around like the
Mm,
neighborhood, go grab a feed and just like chat shit.
mm.
That was a really nice way for to get over any hangover and just sort of get ready for the week.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So to summarize,
mm,
have a shower, change clothes, get outside, bit of exercise, socializing. You
mm,
haven't touched on food
good.
necessarily. Is there any particular go-to foods that you would eat to help you get through a hangover?
Oh man, I I love the dirty feed. So
It
I
was
don't really
when
do Uber Eats too much, to be fair. I usually have some sort of leftovers, but I would normally have like on a bad hangover day, it's probably just one meal, probably around 1 p.m. So that meal is my life source. So it'll be like rice, beef, like a proper dinner sort of meal, like I reckon.
yeah. Hey,
Or
Guzman and Gomez and a Powerade will
oh,
fix
oh,
anything.
Powerade, Powerade,
Anything.
yeah.
Yeah. So these are all good tips for dealing with a hangover when you have it. Do you have any tips for preventing a hangover from coming on in the first place?
Oh yeah. So what I found for me is when I mix a lot of alcohol, which I do a lot, it can really, really mess up with my head. And also
Mm.
like drinking cheaper stuff, like Goon or like really like cheap shitty like what
Can
are
you
the
please
beers like the tons or whatever. Like
like these, the hammer and tongs and the goon make sense to us. Could you please elaborate a little bit more as to what a goonie is for those listeners who may or may not know what they are? Because I know we have quite a few listeners who aren't from Australia, and I'm thinking goonie, kind
yeah.
of stupid word are these Australians making up now?
So a Goonie, I feel like most people would call it cast wine. So it comes in a box like this, and it comes in a sack, like a silver sack. And essentially, you can just open it like that and drink it like that. And essentially, that is pretty much, I'd say, a solid 95% of most Australians' first few drinks as teenagers or like whenever you start drinking, because firstly, it's so cheap. What is it, like $13 for 4 liters? And when you're
Yeah,
young,
man.
that thing can send you. Like you
One
can,
goon sack
yeah,
can make or break a night.
can make or break a night. But then the thing is, a goon, since it's so cheap, it's got some really whack ingredients. Like I looked at it once,
Yeah.
like eggs, fish extract. It's just
Weird shit in there. And so much sugar too.
yeah, so much sugar, and that's what gets you really like bad the next day. That
Mm.
sugar, I reckon. But
Yeah.
yeah. So that's the goon. You can like just type it in Google. It's if you ever come to Australia, you need to get the Golden Oak. What is it? Golden Oak?
Fruity Lexia.
Fruity Lexia.
Is it still called Fruity Lexia?
Oh no, it's called like soft fruity or something. I don't know. Or there's a few ones now, but if you come to Australia traveling, you don't have much money, you gotta hit the goon up.
If you don't have much money, you still have enough money for goon.
Yeah, exactly. You can always scrounge $13, and then like if it's your only drink, you still have a good time. But I would just
Mm.
advise probably not drinking 2 liters of it or too much of it, because then you will know the next day.
So what about before you go to bed at night?
Oh yeah, so I
I know that both of us use a little trick that works quite well.
yeah. So I used to have first I used to do like a tacky boot, or which is like you make yourself vomit, and essentially like kind of strolling home at 3 a.m. really pissed. I'm just like, I could boot, but I could not. But if I booted or vomited, I'd have a nice easy sleep, and
Mm.
the next day it won't be as rough. So I used to do that heaps, and it's like
So
it's so much easier.
less alcohol in your stomach when you go to bed will mean there's less of it your body has to process. So you may as well just
Exactly.
get it all out anyway.
It's so much easier to do when you're like
So much
drunk
easier.
too.
Yeah.
But I also drink heaps of water. Like when I get
Yeah.
back, actually, I drink like an absurd amount of water.
I feel like I've evolved to the stage of almost being too prepared. And before any night of drinking now, I have two Powerades in the fridge, one for as soon as I get home, one for the next
Yeah.
morning. And it's almost
Trademark.
making that when I don't have that system in place, hangovers are a damn nightmare. But like that would be my biggest tip. Two Powerades in the fridge. One is for that night. As soon as you get home, punch that whole thing. As soon as you
Oh,
wake up, man, you're gonna feel like a goddamn desert.
Yeah.
Open that thing, crack it, get the watermelon flavor. Just trust me, it's it blows your mind. Open that lid, bang, bang, bang.
That nice
Get up, go for a
coldness.
walk, man. You're ready to go. You've had all the sugars you could need to pick yourself back up.
I forgot my my two little things that when I have them in the house, cordial, ice cold cordial in a Sydney summer hangover
Mm,
period. Oh man, that's like that Powerade, but obviously not as like not the same sort of ingredients to bring you back fully, but
yeah.
that like sweetness and cold. I've knocked back three cordials like in a big glass before, and I just like that gets me good. And also,
Yeah.
as I mentioned earlier in another episode, that dish, cucumber, tomato, salt, and lime. If I have that, you're laughing.
You're
You're laughing when
laughing.
I'm on that hangover. Yeah, you are laughing.
Some hangovers, though, you just got to endure them. It doesn't matter what you do. That
Oh
thing is
yeah,
just going to hurt. You just got to endure. Buckle down
yeah.
for a day or two and eat as much plain food as you can and just suck it up.
I had like this, like, I call them the ultra horrible hangovers, and it's like those ones where you're like shivering, you kind of got a fever, you just keep on like just vomiting, like absolutely like just nothing, like
Mm.
dry wrenches, and like you
And
just feel,
bile, like
yeah,
just that tiny amount of yellow.
you
Ugh.
just feel horrible. I had one of those in like Thailand, and I was like, they're the sort of hangovers that you're like, I'm not drinking again.
Mm.
And those ones, you unfortunately have messed yourself up, and I don't know, I have no remedy for that. Like if anyone has a remedy for that type of hangover,
I would love to
please,
know.
I would love to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's more though. Like it's when you're vomiting the next morning. Oh man,
Oh,
clear your schedule. Get your partner. Or if you can somehow get to the shops and get comfort food, do it. You won't be able to eat it for a couple of hours, but once you survive, at least you have it there ready to go.
uh,
Man, like there's just been times I've had to send my sister, like take my card, petrol stations nearby, two Powerades, any kind of chocolate bar, don't care. I probably won't eat it. Buy whatever you want, just please, anything.
help, SOS, SOS.
Well, these are our handy tips to battling your hangover. Feel free to shoot us through your handy tips because I know for sure we're both going to be hungover in the future at some point,
Yeah.
and we'll be
Oh,
wishing we had to listen to our own advice.
on that, I will probably be very hungover this weekend because I haven't drunk for a month. Did a dry
Yeah,
month, and tomorrow we're going for a few beers around Bondi with the boys. So
dangerous, very
dangerous.
dangerous.
But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in.
No worries.